Let us pray. Loving God, we thank you that today we can come to study your words and also a lot of things that we can use for your kingdom and for your church. Help us to understand everything. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Okay, let's see. Okay, today we're talking about week 7, chapter 7, macro manager. The chapter want to concentrate on macro manager, but in the same time, we're going to compare some to the micro manager. So you might understand the word micro and macro. Micro means small, but macro means big. So you can guess, if you are the macro manager, mean that you look at the big picture. You want your team to work in the same more freedom. And you pretty let them have a lot of idea to do their own work. So this is we call in general called macro. But when you talk about micro manager, it means the manager that go after you in every detail, every day. The micro manager will come to check you on everything you do. Every day, almost every project, every detail, you have to report to the manager almost every day. So that we call micro. They very detail in everything. So now, what's the difference between micro and macro manager? Well, in fact, it depends on what kind of job. It depends on work. Some work demand micro manager, but a lot of work demand macro manager or management. Now you talk about a church or ministry. Most things that we done from a church perspective or from a ministry perspective, it run better with macro management. Why? Because we want people to have more freedom, more time to think, to imagine new things, and to do things that they love to do. If you make micro management or your ministry or your project, people will feel that they don't have freedom. You control them too much. And another important thing is most of ministry and church use volunteer. And this is a big difference from most companies. Most companies pay people to work for them. So they can do micro or macro. But at the church, most of our staff are volunteer. When you do micro, a lot of them will quit. So macro will work very well, a lot better with volunteer. They want freedom. They want to feel comfortable working with you. If they don't feel comfortable, if they feel that you control them too much, they quit. They don't need to worry because you don't pay them anyway. So the thing that will work a lot better in most ministry and in church setting is macro management. So now you see the two different. But as I say that in some job, micro still demand because it demands some kind of control, precision, and in detail. And even in some ministry, you still need micro management for a certain department or certain job. For example, accounting. Any organization, even church, you need micro management on accounting, on your fund, on your money. You cannot say, okay, I macro my accounting department and let people use whatever they want to use. Now you have big problem. You need to report to people who contribute the money. You need to accountable to every cent, every dollar that you have and you use. When you use macro on accounting, now you cannot keep track of anything. You cannot manage in detail. And you cannot accountable to people who want to know. So money always need micromanagement, even at church or ministry. Now you can see that a lot of organizations have big problem with government, with IRS, or with people who donate money because they say, I use macro management on the accounting. Now you have no idea what's going on. You let them run the department themselves. You let them do whatever they want to do. And everyone do what they want to do. Now you don't have record. You don't have detail. And you don't have anything to back up what you need to report. So now you see that even at church or ministry, some department or some jobs still demand micromanagement. So you see that both is important. Both of them are important, and both of them work differently. Now you as a leader, you need to do both. You need to know how to do both. And some people say, I just macro guy. I'm not micro guy, but you need to learn. You cannot say that I cannot do it. You need to do it. Because demand it. You need to be flexible to use both. But as I say that most church department or ministry can run macro very successfully. It's just some department that demand micro. Now, if you don't like it or you cannot do it, you can get some help. Someone who know how to run micro management on certain department for you or for your organization. You need to have that. Here we have more detail about micro and macro. You will have it. And in a lot of business, they always say that micro is not so good. But it works very well in short term. But in long term, the staff don't like it. They're not happy with it, with micro. Because they put them on spot all the time, and it's so stressful to work with you. But as I say that you can relax by using both from time to time. Even the department that demand micro, you still can relax sometimes. But sometimes they need to know that we need to macro or the work or the department. So you need to be flexible and know how to use both at a certain time, certain department, or certain project. So that is something that you need to learn because both of them have advantage and disadvantage. So you see that in this lecture, you will see that there is good and bad on both. And it worked well in certain times, certain situations. And you cannot say that this always good or this always bad. No, it depends on situation. But most of the time, some organization will do very well with a certain management style in the long term. So you need to find out that your organization, your church, will work well with certain things and certain leadership too. So you see that some leader is so, they call laissez-faire or macro. But people feel that nothing organized, nothing is working. So things need to change. So here is another way to look at big picture or text. Big picture means that the big organization, the whole thing, how it runs, and small department run with a certain function. So if you look at the big picture, like you have a whole car, how it runs. Now you open the hood, you see the engine, all small part. All small parts working together to make the big car run smoothly. So it's right here in the big picture. You still need both macro and micro in the same car. You cannot say that the whole car just have all macro. No, they have a small part that run very detailed too. And in general, outside you might look simple, similar, nothing special. But in fact, both need one another. But it's just some organization will do better with most of this part. Some organization will do a lot better with a different way. So don't say that one size fits all and one thing will work everywhere. No. This is why you need time to know the organization. You need to know the people. Don't say that I already have a recipe and it will work everywhere. No. You need to start learning about the people, the organization, their culture, and how they run, and what worked with them in the past, what doesn't work. And now you need to adjust your style to make it better. So you see that a lot of things to learn, a lot of adaptation and change it coming. But they say that macro leadership is a guy who have more vision. They look at big picture and they always want something more. If you are micro, you cannot do much because you so detailed in a certain way. And you try to finish the project at all detail. You cannot get out of the frame that you set up yourself. So if you want to do big thing, big dream, big project, you need to be more macro. So you see that the good point and the bad are not so good point of each one. The plus and the minus of each one. Now people say that, oh, it's not about what I want to use, it's about me. Well, it's also true too. Some people, even you tell them to be macro, they're not happy with that. They cannot do it because they are the micro guy. So what that means? It means that you have to find a department or job that fit him very well. Because you try to make him do something that is not him. He can try, but he's not happy. He cannot function very well. So now it's not just the style that will work well or not work well. It's about the people you're going to use in your team. He's a macro guy or he the micro guy. A lot of things, when you talk with the person, you can tell. Now, if you interview two guys for your project, and two guys so different, how can you tell that this guy is macro, this guy is micro? You can put a situation for him and let him explain to you how he deal with the situation. The macro guy will go in general and say that, oh, I will talk with the people and let people tell me and let people share that the macro. But the micro will say, I will interview each one specifically what their job they do and how many hours they put in and what problem that happened in that department. This is micro. He go in detail, specifically. That two different style, very clear. But as I say that, it not mean one is better than another one. It depends on what kind of job. You need a certain kind of person. And some department need someone who can do both, flexible. So that is, first, you need to know the job very well. Secondly, you need to know the people that you're going to put in there very well. And see how they fit one another, fit each other or not. But I don't mean that when you find the person that fit the job or the project, it's done. No. There's still a lot of adjustment. Even you fit the right guy with the right job, they still have a lot of things to learn. Now the team will get involved. The team that work with him can accept him or not, his style, and work well together or not. Because when you put different people together to work in the same project, they have different style. You don't say that I'm the boss. Everyone do what I want to do. Well, when your team not happy, you cannot go anywhere. No success and no long term. Your team need to be happy. And your team need to know one another's style and know that how to work together as a team, even they are so different. Now they go in detail that the micro guide is very transactional, mean that in detail, in departmental, try to find each one how it works, what each one can do, go in detail. Well, you need some of that. If you don't know your team in detail, you cannot assign a good fit job that fit their ability, or how you can bring the team together to work and to make success. So that is the main difference between micro and macro. Now I will stop a little bit and come to you and ask you, you are macro or micro, and how you know that you are micro and macro. Now you understand what macro and micro is and who you are. In general, are you macro or micro?
Ajahn, I am micro. That's a lot of time I don't want to talk because I don't want to scare people off.
How you know that you are micro?
When you are how do you determine? When you're a perfectionist, you are micro. And sometimes you feel like, man, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to make people run away.
Yeah, it mostly if you are perfectionist, you pity a micro because you are very detailed. You're very detailed person. Now you know yourself, you are micro and your style is detailed. And you're going to work with a team that a lot of macro. How you work with them? Well, I let you think and let your friend share. You find out about yourself. Or you still don't know who you are. Or you need to make a test.
I think I'm macro, John, because I know that I can't go too much detail. I mean, specific to like command this man. Like, okay, but I want to be like freely, like open.
So you're macro.
Yes. What about Jan Pun, Jan Bob?
I know, I know. Sometimes it's the same way. I feel like Michael, because I'm not having detail. Sometimes we go to the team. So sometimes it's hard or sometimes easy, but we try. So I go maybe I goes myself maybe.
For me, I am Michael. Detail everything, like we have to some kind like a general. Somebody don't know what they do. I have to detail them and let them know about what kind of job they have.
He sent my team to อาจารย์กุไซ The
I will say in between because the reason I say why I cannot be micro is it's more almost like like narrow, that your thought, your thinking, your thing is narrow, right, Jan? Specific and detailed, and you want when you put it out there. I know that somebody is being micro. It's really sometimes really hard for them to bend into to listen to other people. They have to be their specific, have to be their own, they have to be their goal, have to be theirs, So they can't, don't you think that the micro don't want to follow some other people? They want all for themselves, Ajan, the ideas and all that stuff.
Well, as I say, it's not mean that it's good or bad. It's just your style. You need to find out how to work with different people.
Yeah. Can you say that? Yes. Can you say that we can have both in between?
Yeah, me too.
It's like I say that you either extrovert or introvert, but you can try to be both, but it's still not you.
Right.
You yourself know yourself that you are a real one is what, but you just try to do another thing that is not you.
Yeah.
Because they are two opposite.
Okay, Kevin, say something.
Yeah.
Okay.
To me, my personal, I think if my real life, I'm macro, but I try my best and then I'll try to be both, like macro and micro. But I don't think so that it can be happen. But to me, like me, and right now, possible. I was thinking that is both sides.
So what are you?
Macro.
Macro.
Yeah.
So then today we're talking about chapter 7.
I want to dig it one scoop. I want to have a whole thing. That's why I said I'm a macro.
อาจารย์ขอโทษอาจารย์ภาษาไทยพูดไงอะสำหรับไมโคร or macro.
I think there is no word in Thai yet. Yeah, I think they try to make a word in Thai, but I don't think we understand it.
You're right. In dictionary also,
Julapak
can
and
translate.
Mahapak. They use the word Julapak and Mahapak.
มหาภาค ผมก็ไม่เข้าใจเลยความหมายว่าอะไรครับอาจารย์
ไม่เข้าใจ
เขาบอกว่ามหาภาคผมดูที่บทเรียนแล้วก็มาดูที่ภาษาลาวว่ามหาภาคผมว่าจะถามอาจารย์บ๊อบอยู่ว่าอาจารย์บ๊อบรู้ภาษาลาว
มหาแปลว่าใหญ่
โอเคมหา
จุนแปลว่าเล็กภาษาไทย
Yep.
มหาภาคตรงนี้ไม่รู้ไม่เข้าใจความหมายเลยผมก็จะถามอาจารย์
คือ
Yeah, my heart's too big. That's why.
อาจารย์เพราะภาษา dictionary ก็ไม่แปลให้นะ
What do you mean? Thai dictionary don't translate it?
No, don't translate. Just say macro manager. That's all they say.
So they don't find the word to use.
No, we can't find the word. There's a micro manager and macro manager. เขาพูดว่าmicro manager กับ macro manager ไม่มีความครับ
So the concept is not Thai, so they cannot find a word for it.
แต่ไมโครภาษาลาวไม่มีที่ dictionary ดูเลยไม่มีแต่มีอยู่ที่มีคำบอกว่าแมคโครมีบอกว่ามหาภาคผ ผมก็ว่าจะถามอาจารย์อยู่ไม่เข้าใจมาก
ภาษาไทย Thai and Lao มหามิน big
โอ้ใหญ่
Okay.
เป็นใหญ่
Yeah.
อาจารย์ถ้าผมเข้าใจผมเอาแบบนี้ I just compare I want to use a mega or small I want a big or small that's all is that true or no
Now when we talk about micro and macro management it means that you yourself in general when you do things you just look at the big picture you don't care much about detail but the micro they care about all detail
yep that's ดูให้มันรอบคอบ
It's not you try to be perfect or something. It's you. It's your
Okay.
personality. Like you look at all the little kid. Some kid is so messy and anything go. But some kid is so detailed. Everything, like they pen a picture or draw a picture, you can tell the kid very detailed. Pay a lot of attention on detail. From little kid up. That's your personality from birth. And it's going to develop more and more.
thank you อาจารย์
Yeah, I know. So mine sort of macro because most of the detail a lot. So I tell somebody I have to go with them and tell them can do that. Follow that. If sometimes almost 10 times you tell them, the team and our church, I tell them 10 times. After that they could still do the same thing. Okay, let them go.
So that is micro.
Oh, Michael. Okay.
In detail is micro.
Oh, okay, Michael.
Ajahn, put if like somebody, like, okay, like people that want to give tithe or something, or give sense missionary, they want to know the details, where the money goes, really. So, and for me, it's like, okay, when you want to give something to the, helping other people, I don't want to expect anything in return, or, like, but the micro is wanted to, know all the details where, you have, when you send the money in, you have to want to report from them how they are, how they're doing, if they don't, things like that. Is that normal?
Normal for them because they are micro.
Yes,
So
but
if you want money from everyone, you need to prepare both.
okay
Yes.
then อาจารย์can I talk about the last week so about our survey come out from the DNS right that อาจารย์ can put me in macro or micro
Well, so who you are, you found out you are D.
I think I told you I'm a DNS right
So I think you're going to be more macro.
that's why I think I'm a macro
Yeah, I think you and me are like a macro.
macro
I think a macro so all my life never change. I don't have a chance to get to macro.
Well, the first step is to know your style first. And as I say that you can either micro, macro, you can do the job. It just you need to know your team and how to work with them. Because when you work with a lot of macro, you need to understand them. You, with your detail, got to kill them. But if you are macro and you work with your team who are micro and they want detail, and you say you don't give them detail, you just say do whatever you want, they're not happy. They want guideline, they want detail, they want timeline, they want everything. Now, as I say that if you have a team who have both, you need to prepare for both. If you will do your style, you will lose some of your team. So as a leader, you need to be flexible and know how to work with the macro and the micro. So don't say that you too much detail. Well, that is how they are. And if you are micro, don't tell the people that you never have any idea what you are doing. You just don't have any plan. Well, this is how they are.
You're right, John. Just learn to accept each other the way they each personality is.
Yeah, to know yourself, to know your team, know the strength of each one, and know the weakness. So you can supplement one another. Your team cannot have all the detail, mean that all the micro. You need some macro in there. And your team cannot have all the macro. You need some micro in there. Because the micro is the one who always warn you about danger, problem. But most of the macro don't see problem, don't see danger. They're just the dreamer. But as I say that in some department, you need a micro to do the job. Some department, you need some macro to do the job. So don't put the wrong guy in the wrong department. Why? Because they're not happy. They cannot do the work. And the result come out so bad. So now you learn that sometimes at church, you try to push someone to do something that they hate or they cannot do very well. It's against them. They cannot do wrong and they're not happy with it. So you need to find the one who happy to do a certain job, certain department in your church. Yes, Nathan.
Ajahn, can we put this way? In a big company, the CEO and the manager are the macro manager. The leads are the micro manager. Is that right?
Well, a lot of big companies have a macro leader because they need a dreamer, someone to dream big and want to do big thing a lot. I don't see all the limitation, but their success comes from some micro team that find all the detail, all the information for him to dream. It's like you see that the dreamer, just like the balloon, they need to ground on the ground by some weight. Without that, it just falls away. But yes, big companies start with a dreamer, but you might be surprised that a lot of dreamers have a lot of team that so detailed. Make the dream into detail and work it out. Now you talk about Elon Musk, he a dreamer, but he hired the smartest guy in every field to work for him. Those are micro. And those guys write down all the detail, make his dream into detail for him. So that's why I have a big project that's workable to not just a dream. For most of us, it's just a dream. How can you put a man on Mars or put tourists on the spreadsheet? A lot of things is just a dream, but he make it work because they have a good team. And the electric car, he make it possible. It just start with a dream, but he have a good team to make in detail, to make it work. You see a lot of companies not so successful because they just have a dreamer, but no backup. And a lot of companies never make anything new because the leader just the micro, not the macro.
John,
Yeah, okay.
how about the Amazon? Is the macro or micro?
That's a good question. Now you look at what Amazon did, what he do. Amazon is so different from Elon Musk, electric car or spreadsheet or the big idea. Amazon just do the same thing that people have been doing for thousands of years, but he make it better. He sell book, but make it fast, cheap, easy to get. And that's what he do. So not new idea of anything. Just do something that people are already doing, but do better, cheaper, faster, and can be successful too. So now you get mostly what he is micro, macro.
If I'm not wrong, I put him both.
But the thing that make him so successful is his micro.
Yes,
He go in detail with everything.
exactly.
He know how to get all the books, send it
Right.
fast, cheap, or the distribution center, all detail. The book
Yes.
can go to you so quick.
Yeah, but he's a macro, he's a dreaming first, then he will make it.
But I say, you see, Elon Musk did something nobody do. But Amazon do something that everyone already done, but do better. You tell Elon Musk, why don't you do things that Amazon do? He said, no, boring stuff. But you see that it can be successful. It doesn't matter big new idea or old idea. If you do better than other people, cheaper, faster, better, you can be successful too. You can pick anything. And that people have been doing everywhere. Now you look at Starbucks. Is Starbucks a new idea? In fact, Starbucks just sell coffee. McDonald's, everyone sell coffee for millions of years already. But why Starbucks so successful? Well, I used to go to McDonald's for 10 cents a cup of coffee, but now I pay $3 and $5 a cup for Starbucks. Coffee, but it tastes differently. You feel differently in the same by the same cup of coffee. You will pay 10 times more, but you're happy to pay for that. Selling coffee, the same old idea, but make it better. A lot better. So in order to make that coffee better, how you do it? It's so detailed. You know that he searched the whole world for the best coffee and how to brew the coffee to the perfect temperature, amount of water, machine, and everything. Wow, we have to know. At first, I thought Lee Yong pretending to be no. Yes. All these successful business, they need both. But one guy might not have both. But you need a team to supplement what you don't have.
That's why, John, right now my missions almost failed. That's why I mentioned about it, because my procedure is macro. That's why I'm dreaming. So my mission, I dream too fast. I almost fell. I nearly arrested. And then farm is a micro. I already know it. Farms is a very good thinking, planning for future. But she told me many times of that too. When my mission start, she stopped me a couple, more than 3-4 times. But I don't listen to her. But we both almost got arrested. So, but Achan, I'm not stopping. I still want to continue my journey. Pray for me.
Yeah, if you make farm your co-president, maybe your team will be
That's
more
why we have
successful.
both of us, and we have a partner. We have a companion. Yes.
But you don't listen to her, that's the problem.
Yeah, he has to listen to me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, something that I see not good, he has to.
Oh,
From
now
on,
you're
right?
in Hawaii, right? Now you're talking.
Yeah, I'm in Hawaii and also having my dinner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's why I cover my face. Later,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
coming out. All right.
Okay.
Hawaii, 2 hours,
3 hours.
3 hour
Yeah.
difference.
Mhm.
Wow. Mali and Ben is in Hawaii too.
Wow.
Oh, but we didn't know where they are.
They're in Kauai or something.
Oh,
You are in Oahu?
we in yeah, Honolulu.
Okay, that's Oahu.
Yeah,
Okay, different island.
yeah, different.
Right now, about 3.
Almost 3. Okay.
Hey, farm, 5 o'clock right now? No, 4.
3, maybe
4,
3
right?
or 4.
You're going to be 4.
Oh, yeah.
Very early.
Almost, yeah, almost 4, but I
Yep.
didn't eat anything, so we just came back to hotel, so I just had something to eat, that's all.
So one of your daughter live in Hawaii now?
They move, Achan.
Oh, they moved there.
Move back to San Diego again.
Oh, again.
Yeah.
Yeah, now so the young people can work from anywhere.
Exactly. They can work in China and same work, same job. Yeah.
So one of my daughter now moved back to Southern California again.
Oh.
She lived there. She have school friend there, church there, and she want to live there again. Her company is in San Francisco, but she want to work from LA, Southern California. Okay, I will give you some time to take a break, and we'll come back to finish the rest of micro and macro management.
Yeah, I send you chapter 7, Ajahn Pun. I send chapter 7 too. In
Okay, now we talk about the difference of the micro and macro leadership. It's not just the person that different. The style are very different too. But in business, they can just pick one that they want. And big business, they have so many manager, leadership, and they can have different style of people run a different department. But at a church, you know that we just have one person to do everything. So that person needs to be very flexible. You need to do micro with some job and macro with some job, and you need to do some macro with some person and micro with some person. So if you are a leader, you need to be very flexible. And you are one man, like a one-man show. You need to know how to handle different jobs in different time. It's difficult. This is why a lot of small churches in America don't survive, because they cannot find anyone who can do everything and want to do everything too. Most people want to go to big church and do just something. Very few want to go to small churches and do everything, because it's against their personality. And it's not that so people want to do it. But as we in a small church, and most of us, we need to learn how to adjust and do all style. Need to understand the strength, the weakness, and even we know that we are a certain type, certain style, we still need to know to adjust, learn how to do different things for different people. Yeah, in this, I talk more by borrow a lot of concept and idea from business, because they are the one who do all this thing a lot. And we in Christian organization or church or Christian ministry, we don't do much study on this. But lately we learn more that, well, we can borrow a lot of idea from business to use in church. And I think it can help. Even we cannot use all of them, we can use some. And we can adjust some to fit our need. Now, some ideas, some scholars believe that it's more than just micro and macro. Now they call meta. Meta is a new word. Now you see that now Facebook call themselves meta too. What the difference? Meta is even bigger. When you call about the company, macro, micro, it's opposite each other. One is very detailed and emphasize on just a few detail on the certain department. Macro look more big picture of the whole company. But if you talk about meta, it looking about the whole universe. Only big company can do that. And I talk about today, Facebook call themselves Meta, or even Google. They are in that level. They not just do micro, macro anymore. They do the whole universe. They do everything. So that is a big thing. So a lot of time we don't go to that level to look at that big picture of the whole mission, the whole world mission, because we do very locally, very small group. But at the same time, we can dream big, because today internet, or we talk about Zoom, open the whole world for us. Even with small church in the small group, we can impact the whole world too. So you cannot say that, oh, I'm still micro in a small local church, but now the whole universe open for you. You can do in the big impact to the whole world through internet. And to all the Zoom, you can get connected with everyone anywhere. So this is now something. And when you want to do at that level, you need to open up your mind even more. Different people from different culture, different time zone will have all the different idea, different thinking. So you need to really learn how to adjust to that idea. Now, if you are the micro leader, ask all these questions. What are the deadlines for the particular project? How do we measure progress? This is all detail now. Is there sufficient feedback? How do we promote more accountability within the team? This is all the macro thinking and talking, all detail. Now, if you are the macro in some work, some project, you need to talk macro idea. What skill does each employee want or need to develop? This is in general more. What are each person's career aspiration? Now you don't talk detail about the job, you talk about their future, their thinking. In general, you talk about more future here. What their role in the coming year? That's something that not even happening. Are they happy? Are they feeling that they utilize themselves to the full maximum? So you see that this is not specific, this is general. It's not about the job. It's just more about the people. So this is the way that macro leader do a lot of time. Now, macro leader, what the good thing about them? They're extreme organized too. Don't say that they're just a dreamer. They're organized. The difference to great macro leadership. This is we talk about come to the micro. And you see that the difference between macro and micro is just detail, just organization. And it works in different way. Why micro leadership lack personal leadership and tend to, now you see that the weak point of micro management or leadership is, if you are pure micro, some weak point that you need to develop or change is licit delegation work, mean that you don't want to share your responsibility, or you want really get people to help you to do a certain job because you think that they cannot do a good job or they cannot do it. Immerse themselves in the work assigned to others. Sometimes because you are the head, but you so micro, the job you assign to some of your team, but you always get involved. You always get into the job. And you always have all the problem in detail. And you don't want your team to make decision on themselves. It's you who make decision. So this is some weak point of micro. You get in people way all the time because you feel that they don't do the job correctly or they don't do what you want them to do. You don't give them freedom. And people don't feel happy so much working with you. But anyway, I say that micro is not always bad. In some departments, some jobs demand you to be micro because you cannot make mistake in some certain job. You need to be exactly correct all the time. In business world, big business, they love macro leader because macro leader can dream big, can inspire people. And business always want to be big. And they always want leader that can lead them to another step. Now you see that a lot of company will go out of business because they cannot catch up with new idea or new imagination of modern day people. And you see that all these company always want to hire some leader who can dream, get new big idea. So this is, we talk about big corporation. Now you talk about churches or Christian organization. Just a few big organization need this kind of leader. They dream big. They want to impact the whole world. But a lot of us, it's just very small. So we cannot dream too big that we can handle. So this is a different situation. But I say that even we in small churches, don't say that I cannot dream big. As I told you that today, internet and all the Zoom open the world to you. If you dream big, you can do that big project to the whole world, to the all the Lao all over, not just America, the Lao who live all over the world can connect with you. And your church cannot just can be not just locally. You can go anywhere if you can dream that big. And if you can manage to run that big project, anything possible. Now in the past, we limit by resources, time, and staff. But today, the whole world open to you. You can dream big if you can handle it. If you can find a team to help you. If you can find a market, the audience who want you. Anything possible. But still, if you want to happy with what you're doing locally in your micro situation, it works too. Now we come back to you that it's your future, it's your ministry, what you want to do. It doesn't matter you are micro or macro. You still can do your job the best. And you can build a team that's different from you to help you. And I say that big company, the founder might be the macro, and they need a team that a lot of micro. If the founder is micro, they need a lot of team that are macro too, to supplement what they don't have, to supplement each other. Now I want to come back to you for the reflection from today. What we learned mostly is about micro, macro, and another word that we call meta, the whole universe.
You said Meta, John?
Yes.
The Meta was my daughter's name.
Yeah, now you know Facebook call themselves Meta too.
Oh. Meta means mercy, right?
Yeah, in Hindi, Sanskrit, Meta means mercy.
Mercy. Ajahn, Kate has one more question on our Monday night that we meant to ask you, but we forgot. But now we kind of get it. You know, it said, I had a question how to deal with a person that, you know, like being a Christian, being a leader, and don't want to forgive.
You cannot force anyone to forgive if they're not ready.
Yeah, it's also like if the person is like watching people or when they like hate a person, whenever the person comes up and they will walk out like that. So
well,
how to deal with this type?
The person that they hate might do something that hurt them. If that's the case, it has to start somewhere. If the one who got hurt still hate them, the one who hurt them, if they feel that they want to make peace, they have to initiate. They need to say sorry and try to make things right.
Mhm.
If that one side try to do it, or if they don't want to do anything, they cannot expect anything.
Even the one side is sorry, you know. Cat, are you there? I want to hear from you, Cat. Tell John your question.
No, you tell John better than what I talk.
The person who make mistakes sincerely sorry and want to make it right.
No, John, I talk about this kind of person. I don't mean that I bring my church member talk. I just talk about general.
General, yeah.
Yeah. Some people are like, sometimes when you encourage them to do something, to bring them back to go to close to the God, and sometimes they don't appreciate it, and this kind of person, they don't think that you bring them to the close to the God, but end up they hate you more than anything. Sometimes they don't want you say anything. If you say some word and then she or he might turn back on you, they kind of hate on you. Maybe that is a mental problem or something. That's why I don't know. That's why I was thinking this kind of person. Because when she or he want to talk about people's back, they never stop. Even though you're driving like about 10-hour drive, but non-stop, okay? Never change the subject. Probably she got something on her background is or her or she him background very badly. That's why we talk about something is very bad, or she might or he might thinking about the back, and that's why she or he cannot forgive. That's why I mentioned about it.
Yes, you're talking about people. Normally we have some problem or hurt, but some people really have a lot of problem.
That's what I was thinking too also. That's why I want to ask Ajahn tonight.
If you deal with people who have some mental problem, it's more complicated now.
Even though you answering, sometimes it might turn or he might turn back on you. Oh, this word I hear a lot and that I hate you. I don't want to. And then she might go somewhere else, talk you back again. Or something like that. So I don't know what to do. So
Ajahn, his question is like, how do we deal with this kind of person?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's the question.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, you need to decide he is sick physically, mentally, spiritually.
To me, when I see that is normal, but I don't know the background.
You can do as much as you can do, to the point that you just have to pray to God to let God deal with that person.
Ajahn,
Yeah.
if another question, if that person is a leader, how can we deal with it?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah, Ajahn Kongsai, yeah, you're right. That is the main point. Only pray
How can we face that
We
person?
have a conversation with the leadership together.
It depends on what kind of problem. It's personal problem or problem with other people or with the whole church or what?
This is general everything. If she or he hear it, and then that is already put in together already. That's why I think good or bad, don't mention about it when you see kind of person.
Well, I think all have to come from teaching from the leadership who preach that we need to forgive and we not gossip, we not criticize other. This is the fruit of the Holy Spirit. So we need to teach the whole church.
Oh, one more thing. This is the worst subject that I want to mention about. When she or he listen to the preacher to preach, if she or he like that pastor, she said, "Oh, that's pretty good." No matter what, preach good or bad. Hey, if she or he doesn't want that kind of person, she said, "That's garbage." And turn off the TV or just turn back, go to the restroom, take a time, go somewhere else. That's a good idea too, but I don't mean that it's bad. If you don't want it, you just go away. Don't bother someone. Someone they want it, but you don't want someone they might want it, right? So that's why I'm thinking that way. But sometime after that, and then you hear from this side to this side, and then she or he might talk about this person, preach this and that, talk about the back. That's why I don't know. So please give me some advice.
Let me share with you the real story about a lady in church in Thailand who have similar situation. So the leader keep praying to God to help this lady. She might have some spirit controlling her or some mental issue.
Yes.
And to the point that God just make that lady dumb for a while. She cannot speak anymore.
Oh.
She lost the ability to talk for a while.
Oh.
I don't know, you want that extreme to pray that God shut her up?
I don't know. That's the way.
Ajahn, in other cases, like, excuse me, in other cases, like some, like maybe God put that person there for a reason. Number one is sharpen you. I think that's what I think. Sharpen you is your patient, and you're loving to that person. Pray for them, and don't judge them. That's what the way I see it. But sometimes it's annoying. A lot of times it's annoying, but sometimes you learn how to take that in, and you said, if I don't love this person, who's gonna love this person? That's the way I look at it. But because a lot of people said, I don't like this to talk to gossip. They talk too much. But I said, sometimes God bring that person to teach you and to show that you have to be patient with them, and sometimes you cannot change them, but only God can change them. Like you said, pray for them, and God is the one get involved, intervene. You do your best is to love them, and that's the way I see it.
Yeah,
that's what we discussed on Monday, right?
Me and Kong Sai and John Bob, we mentioned about that. Maybe that's the God's way to bring this person in your church, to reminding you to preparing to how to humble yourself to like Moses to teach you how to go for your journey. And then if you don't have this kind of person, you not control yourself, and then you might do something wrong. And that's why maybe God might give the plan and then to help you, this kind of person in your church to teach you a lesson to how you can change yourself. Is that true or false, Ajahn?
Well, even in time of Moses, there always some troublemaker. And to the point, God will take care of that. You remember even Aaron, Miriam, challenged Moses.
Yeah.
And then God punished Miriam.
Oh, yeah. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And another situation, Korah the Levi rebelled against Moses. And the land opened the mouth, take all them away.
Yeah. Mhm.
So to the point that God will take care of them too.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ajahn. So now we got about 50% of that. So that's Ajah's, way, the one that you talk about, the real light, that lady can stop talking a little bit while.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We pray for that.
Okay. You have any more question or comment on this week lesson?
We thank you for your lesson, Ajahn, because it really help us in some way how to cope and deal with the situation that we facing.
Okay. So you decide what kind of project you want to do for the class?
Hey, Pham, you want to talk to Ajahn? Go ahead.
I'm not sure, so I will talk to Ajahn when I get back.
Okay.
Individual. Thank you.
Okay. You can
I
do,
enjoy my vacation first, huh, Pham?
you
That's
can do
right.
anything. You're good. So can also have a Hawaii background too, but he's not a real one.
Yes. She got a Vallejo's background, like Hawaii background. We are opposite.
Aloha. You know,
Let's see. Today we're on week 7 on Christianity in the Middle Age. As I said last week, we mentioned something about the Middle Age. We call it the Dark Age of the Church. Because now let's put in perspective. Constantine is the first Roman emperor around the 4th century who became Christian because of the vision that he tried to unite all the small city of Rome into the whole empire, but never successful. Nobody ever successful until he saw a vision that he used the cross symbol in his flag. So he do that and he won. So he know that this is the God of Christian is the real God, and he decided to be Christian. Now, when the emperor became Christian, the whole empire or the leader also joined in, but they are not a real believer. They just want to impress the emperor and know that this is the way to make money, to get power. So they come and take over the church. The Romans changed the name of their church that they already have it to be Christian name, like Saint Joseph, Saint Mary, Saint all these things. And that's all the statue that they worship, they change name too. from Zeus, Hercules, Diana to be Mary, Joseph, Peter, Moses, and they worship the same thing. So you say that the Roman is not a real Christian. They just keep their own religion, but adopt Christian name and Christian culture into their temple. This is why they still call themselves Roman Catholic. They still the religion of the Roman. Now, who is the real Christian? The real Christian is underground from the first century because they are persecuted by the Roman government. We are outlaw. And now when the Roman became Christian, the real Christian is still underground because when you pop up, you try to teach the truth, they kill you too. They put you in jail, they still kill you. So the real Christian is still underground. So a lot of people think that when the emperor, the Roman accept Christianity, we are above ground, but no, the fact is the real church still underground. Because if you want to real worship God, you cannot go to the Roman temple because they have all idol. They pay to idol. The real Christians still have to worship underground, real God, real worshiping. Yes, it's not a big number now because a lot want to go above ground, to go to the Roman temple because it feels more comfortable. But the real ones still need to go underground to worship the real God and keep themselves pure under persecution of the church now, not of the Roman government, but of the church, the Roman church, and all the leaders who are not real believers. They're just there to get power. So now the church is under the persecution from the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and the worst time they call is in the Middle Age, the worst of the worst. Why is the worst of the worst? Because they could have more war among different churches. Even the Roman themselves fighting among themselves for power, to control more power, to get more money, and do everything they want. And now, as I say that before Constantine died, he built a new capital in the east, and he called the new capital Constantinople. Today is in Istanbul, Turkey. And the Roman rule over there, but majority of the people who live in those areas are Greek descendants. There are some Roman who moved there with Constantine, with the new emperor, with the new capital. But the old God, the old people still live in Rome, and the church still there. And the people who control the church, they want it to be the center of Roman Catholic. Now, when Constantine died, the two parts of the empire on the part to separate out into two parts, the eastern part and the western part. The eastern part, we call themselves Orthodox. And the western part, we still call themselves Roman Catholic. And two leader, two center. Now, a lot of people say, how about Jerusalem? Oh, Jerusalem was destroyed by the Romans in AD 70. No more churches over there. The Romans destroyed all the temple and take all the Christians, all the Jews everywhere. So the church in Jerusalem disappeared. But the new center is in Constantinople and try to fight back with the Rome church. The two groups fighting one another. And everyone claimed that they are better. Now you say that, but they still call themselves under the Roman power. They're still in the same church, but in fact, they are not accept one another. The eastern part don't accept the Bishop of Rome. The Bishop of Rome say that I am the biggest, I am the most powerful. But the Eastern call themselves the Greek church. The Eastern Greek don't accept the Western. They call Orthodox. Orthodoxy means that preservative or believing. They try to say that we are the original one. We are the real church, but in fact, the real church is underground. The above church, the leadership, still not the real believer. Now they're fighting back and forth. And when they talk about fighting, they have their own army. The church in Rome have their own army. And the church in Constantinople, the East, have their own army. They have soldiers. And they send the soldier to fight their own war, kill anyone that they don't like or anyone that against them. They really have soldiers. And something happened. Some real Christian who want to learn the Bible and try to form a group. And they live together in somewhere in jungle or in a very remote part in the mountain. And they try to spend a lot of time praying, fasting, learning the Bible. But a lot of time they have problem because, as I say, the Bible is very limited. In the around 8th century, they translate the from Greek into Latin. But still not many people understand Latin. Only the one who go to school many years can read and understand Latin. A lot of people still cannot read. So they don't know, even have Bible in Latin. A lot of people cannot read. But some leader who learn Latin, learn Greek, can read the Bible, but still to understand completely still very difficult. And the war between that small group. Now this group is in in France. And they have some leader who very devoted. They start their group. Now you see that a lot of different group in France, in Italy. They have some leader who very powerful. They try to start their own group. And they believe that by doing that, they can put the Christian together to do some good thing for God. And you see that they start many order. Chateau, this is in France, and this is Mendicant order, or the group of the different country. At first, a lot of them is not even Christian, but a lot of them used to be soldiers. And when they have some religious experience, they want to form their own Christian group. And they live together. They have home, or they call themselves an order. They live together and share what they have. They try to have the way of the living like a big family now. And they spend a lot of time trying to fast, pray, and worship. And a lot of groups in France, in Germany will start. And now, as I say that a lot of them that start the new group, they're not even, in those days, they start calling themselves pastor, or they start, the Roman will start the idea of priesthood, like the Old Testament priesthood. But in fact, this is the old Roman idea, because all the Roman temple have the priestess. So they take that idea back that the leader of the church supposed to be a priest or priestess, like the Roman religion. And they're not supposed to have family. They live together in the church. And this is the idea of the Roman church, that the Roman Catholic take it back and want the church, the Christian, they call themselves Christian church, to do that same thing as the Roman do. Have priests, have a priestess, but later on they change the name of the priestess to be nun. So this is how they start all this thing and live together as a family. And the leader in Rome, the pastor of Rome, start call themselves Pope. At first, they call himself Archbishop. Bishop is the general name for all the pastors in the Roman churches. When they call themselves Archbishop, they mean that I'm bigger than all of you, head of you. And they keep changing name until the last name they call himself at Rome is Pope or Papa of all. And many leaders come up, and some are scholars, mean that they know Greek, they know Latin, they study a lot of Bible. But still, how much they understand is another problem. But you see that all of them are Roman. And they just know that this is the Roman religion. They adopt some Christian teaching into their church, some Christian culture, but they still pure Roman religion. And many other problems we have. Later on, the Roman army will travel all over Europe, conquer the land in Germany, Switzerland, Belgium, and many other countries later on, even to England. And when the Roman soldier go, the priests go with them. The Roman kill some, leave some alive, and the priest will come to ask them, you want to baptize to be a Roman Catholic? If not, the soldier will come and kill you. So this is how they conquer the European land, by making them Roman Catholic. Now, one of the events we will talk more later on is about the crusade. Now, around the 8th century, the Arab world, when I talk about Arab world, I talk about a lot of people in Asia Minor who used to be Christian, that Paul went all over Asia Minor, like in Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Egypt, North Africa, to preach to them, and all small churches everywhere, especially come to the eastern part of the empire, like we call Asia Minor, the 7 churches today, all in Turkey. They're all Christian. But around the 8th century, when the Islam start in Saudi Arabia, and they start spreading out throughout the Arab world, so successful. How the Arab so successful when Christian not so do so well? Well, the answer is, I told last week that Muhammad combined the teaching of Jesus from New Testament and the 5 books of Moses about the history of the Arab. He mentioned a lot about Abraham have a wife, Hagar, and have Ishmael. Ishmael is the ancestor of Arab that he claimed that way. And when God asked Abraham to sacrifice his son, he changed from Isaac to be Ishmael. He changed the fact. Why? To fit the need of the Arab people, that not the Jew, but the Arab are the chosen one. The Arab are the one that God won. And Abraham sacrificed Ishmael, the Arab, not the Jew. So he changed a lot of Old Testament that he put in his book, and changed Jesus' teaching to fit the Arab need, and put all the Arab culture tradition in the collection. Now he called that book Quran, and claimed that the angel Gabriel come to give him that book, and he translated all night, all day. After he done, the angel take away the book. So now we have no book, we just have the translation. So we know that he a smart guy, and he have a good father-in-law who are a leader of the clan, who helped him conquer all other land, and used his son-in-law teaching to tell the Arab that this is your God, this is your religion. Why you want to be Christian? because the European persecute the Arab and the Asia Minor. Even they are all call themselves Christian. Now they say that be Islam. Islam is born here and belong to Arab people. So it spread like Wi-Fi. All the Arab accept Islam. And now the crusade start because the Arabs spread out even to Jerusalem, to Palestine, and take Jerusalem. Now the Pope and the leader in Rome feel that, wow, we cannot let the birthplace of Jesus and the foundation of Christian were taken by the Arabs. So this is the crusade start. The Pope told all the leader in Europe, if you go to crusade, you can redeem yourself. I will send you to heaven if you die there. And if you survive, you come back, I will help you. A lot of them are second son, third son, fourth son, have no chance to inherit their fatherland or to be king because you are second son, third son. The law in those days, only the first son get all. To be king, to get all the land or the inheritance. Second son, third son get nothing. One side fit all. One son get all. So the Pope promised all those second son, third son, or any son that no chance. You go to war. Whatever you can get, you get. Whatever you can rob, you rob. If you survive, you come back, I will help you. Get your land, get your title, get your dream. So all those people go to war in Palestine, especially to Jerusalem. So the war starts. But you know that this army is not professional. Most of them just criminal, the one who have no hope. They just go there to take a chance, can rob anything, can find any chance. So this is the bad army they send. And most of the time they lost. And most of the time they die. They not survive, they not come back. But group after group, Pope after Pope, they keep sending people there to Palestine, to the Holy Land. They say, go to fight for the Holy Land, for our God, to take it back to Christianity. But for the native people, they say that all the Europeans are not Christian. They come to invade our land. They're not coming to help us. They're coming to rob us. So it's a different story. It's like Americans go to war in Vietnam. We say that we go to set them free, but the people there know you come to conquer us, to take our land. So now you see that's why America lost in Vietnam War. It's the same thing that all the crusades lost in Palestine. Because of the people there protect themselves while they see the European who come to rob them. And for that 700 years of Christianity, all the Europeans just take advantage of them, persecute them, kill them. So that's a bad example. The crusade keep go on for several hundred years to believe that. And tens of thousands of Europeans go to die in Palestine without anything. But every time when some survive, come back, always claim that they found the cross of Jesus. They found the bone of John the Baptist or something. Why? So they can make money to sell them. It turned out that so many bones that they claim to be John or Peter or whatever apostle, and even claim that they found the blood of Jesus, the nail that nailed Jesus, the wood that make the cross for Jesus. Everyone come and claim, but when you put all of them together, there's so many, they're so big, impossible. So it become a joke. All the lyric that they came from Palestine, they claim that a holy thing related to Jesus and the apostle is all fake. For them to make money, to sell them later on, to make them famous. But Pope after Pope will fight one another, and Sometimes they even kill one another in any way. And they blame that all the problem in Europe or among the Christians come from the Islam. But the Islam is do nothing much. They just protect their land. And all the soldiers who go to war in Palestine do all the bad thing all the way there. They're not a real believer. They're not fighting for God or anything. Now, this is another bad thing. The Pope will set a group of soldiers, and they say that this group of soldiers they call inquisitor. It means that they're going out to check the people who they accuse that teach things something wrong from different from the Pope in Rome. They say that they go to investigate, but no, they just go there to kill. This is the killing team. They send out and kill everyone in the family, anyone who get involved, to shut them up, to stop them from teaching anything against the Pope or not the same way that the church in Rome want them to teach. They send everywhere. And they have branches all over Europe too. They say that the Rome alone is not in time and not enough. So they set up their office all over Europe now. They call themselves the Inquisition. But in fact, they just run a jail, a torture chamber, the killing field. That's what they did. Let's see. So that makes the people feel so bad under the power of the church in Rome. People don't feel that they really have help from God or know the Bible very well. But as I say that the real Christians still underground. They pop up sometimes. They try to tell the people, but they are minority. They just try to survive underground. But now some of them pop up sometime to teach, to preach, to tell the people, but a lot of them got killed. When the leadership in Rome see that they pop up anywhere, they kill them, shut them up. Now, another thing in the Middle Age is the university. Mean that a lot of people want knowledge, want to learn. So they start many schools. In the past, one master might take some student, and the student come to live with the master and learn from them like what Paul and Jesus have. But now there's a new kind of school. Some rich people or rich government want to start something they call university. They hire a lot of smart teachers and take the rich student from rich family to live together and call them university. In fact, it's nothing new. It's similar to what the Greek do in the early 200-300 years before Jesus' time. The Greek already have some kind of university, but it's not a big one. Now the European in the Middle Age want to do it big. And the main thing they learn there is Greek philosophy and some science, some language, and some Bible that they want to do. So it's just a few language subjects they learn in the university in those days. And now most of the university in those days start in church because they want to train preacher. That's the first thing. So the first group of students is preacher, preparing teacher, and some will major in language to teach people, but a lot of them learn to be a preacher. But later on, most of them will end up as a monk. Now they talk about Scandinavia is very far away from Rome. It's almost to the North Pole. And a lot of people never go there because it's so cold in those days to go to Scandinavia. Scandinavian, all the Vikings live there, like in Norway, Sweden, Finland, And this is we call the Norwegian or the Scandinavian or the Viking that you heard the name before. So there are some Christian leader or priest who want to go to be mission field and go all the way there to preach the good news, but they make war with all the Viking or those people for many years. But time will come that a lot of the leader in Scandinavia who have knowledge of or education, interest in Christianity. So a lot of them adopt Christianity because they feel that it's more organized, better than what they worship. The Scandinavian in those days worship, you might call that spirit. Like the Thai-Lao, the Asian people worship thousands of years ago, the spirit, the dead spirit of king, of ancestor, they worship that way. They worship the sun, the moon, the river that the Scandinavian do before they became Christian. But they found out that Christian God, it may be better teaching, better idea. So some of the leaders adopt Christianity and invite the missionary to come, the priest to come from Rome to teach their people. And that is the first conversion of Scandinavian to be Christian or to be Roman Catholic, you might call that way. Now the Slav, the Slav. The Slav are the ancestor of all the Russian or European. And they are one of the last group around 1800 AD. We consider them the Eastern European. Part of them are in Asia too. But the Slav live in East Europe and in part of Asia. And they are one of the last group that the missionary from Rome will go there and preach to them. And it's the same idea that the leader, the king, interest in new technology, new knowledge from the priest from the Rome, that they feel that they're very backward. They want to learn new technology from the missionary, from the priest. So they accept them to teach them a lot of things. And slowly, the leader decide to adopt Roman Catholic. And this is interesting because they're not going to be Roman Catholic long, because later on they will decide to take side with the Eastern Christian, the Constantinople group, the Greek group. This group call themselves Greek Orthodox, but when the Slav adopt Christianity, they call themselves Russian Orthodox later on. But it's the same branch of the Constantinople, the Greek one. What the main difference between the Roman Catholic and the Greek Orthodox? The Roman Catholic worship idol. They have idol all over the temple. But the Greek Orthodox worship painting. They hang painting all over the temple and they worship, pray to the painting of Jesus, of Mary, of everyone. That's the two main difference. But a lot of things that's very similar. And the mission spread over Europe now. They say go to Moravia, go to the further part of Europe. But you see that even in this time, the real teaching is not there, but the culture, the tradition of the Roman Catholic Church will spread all over Europe in this time with the Roman army. Wherever they go, wherever they conquer, the priests from the Roman Church will go with them and make people baptized. When they put people under the water, they say that they are Roman Catholic now. You understand or not, doesn't matter. It just baptize you in the water, it's done. Or sprinkling water on you, and it's done. You are Roman Catholic. Check number, success. So this is how they do it. Okay, I will come back to you for your question or reflection a little bit. I know it's a lot of information. So you just get the idea what's going on. You can read it more in detail, and you can ask me question. But I don't expect you to remember all the name or the year. It's too much. You have any question or concern about the spread of the church, the teaching in the Middle Age, or you call the Dark Age? When we use the word Dark Age, mean that the people lost their freedom. The people don't learn anything. The power of the leader control them, kill them, persecute them. That we call the Dark Age. No new learning, no new technology. They're against all knowledge. They don't want people to know anything. They don't want people to learn anything. So they believe that when they know nothing, it's easy to control. When they know too much, they cause problem. And this is the teaching, the idea of the Roman church and the Roman leader believe that way. And yes, Alvin?
Yes, Ajahn, what I'm sorry. I mean, as what country is Islam from?
They live in, today we call, most of them are Russian.
Oh, Russian.
Russian Federation.
Yeah.
Or the minority Russian, they are the Slav.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Nathan?
I think Ukrainians are part of Slav too, isn't it, John?
Yes, yes, yes.
And what is the meaning of Slav? Is it from slave?
I think it's a name of they call themselves. It's just the group of language or culture. It's not slave.
Okay.
Yeah, you see, a lot of name is the native name that they used to call themselves. Like today we call each country a certain name because the people there used to call themselves that way. And sometimes now you see they change the name because the name that people used to call them is not the name they like.
Exactly, Ajahn. There's I think that the Laotian people call Hmong people, they call Mel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is why they, I mean, they hated it, that name. And then also American people call, I mean, Japanese call Jap. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. So a lot of name is not the name that they call themselves, but in general, people call them and they don't like it a lot of time.
Ajahn, just like I said, Crusaders. That's why a lot of Islam hate Crusaders.
Yes,
Christians.
even today, because you see, as I told you, the people who go there not go to fight for God. They go to rob, to kill, to rape, to do all the bad things.
It gives a bad image to the Christian.
Yep,
The way they go by short.
Yep, and I told you that real Christian is underground. The above ground, they are not Christian. They
Right.
just hijack the name of the church and pretend to be Christian, but they are not. Because their teaching is not Christian.
Well, we have some nowadays too, like a hijack Christian.
Yep. Nathan?
So Ajahn, you said that Muhammad wrote his Quran from the angel that gave him the book. So that means like for us, our Bible is translated from Hebrew and Greek. And for Muhammad's Quran, it's just like, we have no proof. Is that right?
You mean the Quran where it come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he claimed, but we know exactly where he get the idea, because if you read the Quran today, you know that 1/3 is from Old Testament, Moses book, and 1/3 is from Jesus teaching in the gospel. Around 1/3 is old Arab culture tradition that they can divide in 3 sections, that's all. And it's not big book. I think it led us smaller than our Old New Testament. Okay, I will give you a break and to think about it and come back to finish the lesson.
It's a start of the 7th century, right?
The 16th century, that the Reformation mean that God said that it's time to clean up the church now. So God protect Martin Luther, John Calvin, John Zwingli, and everyone that teach against the Roman Church, the Roman Catholic. In the past, they kill all, but this time they cannot kill because God protect them.
Right.
So now the whole people know the truth. In the past, all got killed.
Ajahn, is it that Martin Luther is the one that even him, not a really Christian?
Well, everyone start not a Christian because they are under the Roman teaching. Until they go to Rome, they study the Bible themselves and they found out that the church teaches wrong. The Roman Catholic don't teach the Bible, they teach something else.
Whicho?
Yep, all Martin Luther, John Calvin, John Zwingli, all get their doctorate degree from Rome. So they know Greek, they know Latin, they know Hebrew, and they split the Bible from the original one, and they found the truth that the church hiding, never let anyone know. You know that later on, a lot of people tried to translate the Bible, they got killed. Translate Bible like from the original into English or to German, they all got killed. The church don't want anyone to know the truth.
Ajahn, you think that the devil behind that?
Oh yes, they cannot do it themselves. It's so big.
Yeah.
How could you lie to millions of the whole world?
Yeah.
How could you keep the truth for 1,000 years? It's beyond man can do it.
So what do you think in the future that the saint will appear in the form of the leaders, of religious leaders?
You see that Satan working all the time. It just sometimes openly, sometimes in secret. Sometimes God control them, they cannot do a lot, but sometimes God allow them to do so much. But they're always working over time. Okay, let me confirm with Kat first. The Tuesday that I will come to see you is on the 25th of October. Okay, to make sure on that. Okay, let's go back to the lecture now. Now the Roman priests go all over Europe in the name of mission, but you know that in fact they want more land, they want more money, they want more power, but they go under the name of the church, the Roman Catholic Church. They go everywhere over Europe and make them join the church. Whenever they go, they give people two options. Join the church, get baptized, or die. Which option you want? Not many people want to die. So they say, okay, baptize, join the church. And the priest sent a letter to Rome that we success, thousands and thousands of the native join the church today. Number. Now the Serb, the Bulgaria is now today is the mix of Asian, European, the Slav, the Asian, and some Arab too, Bulgarian. So some country you might have the mix of people, like in Turkey today, you go there people mix of Greek, Roman, and Turk. And you see the mix of people because some countries live by so many cultures. And sometime in history, the Islam ruled them. Sometimes the Roman Catholic ruled them. So it's back and forth. And he has talked about the conversion of the Bulgaria is very painful, bloody. It's normal because the Roman, as I say, that give you two options. Join the church or die. And some people, some country, most of them will join the church because they don't want to die. But some people like the Bulgaria, they are, a lot of them are Islam now. And they really don't want to join the Roman church. So they fight back. A lot of them got slaughtered. A lot of them got killed. A lot of them died. But you see that we talk about not just the Roman, the Orthodox Church also try to spread out too. The Orthodox in the East and the Orthodox come after the Roman, mean that the Roman go first, and now the Orthodox come try to change them from the Roman to be Orthodox. Now the people will ask the question, why? What's the difference between the Orthodox and the Roman Church? You just worship either idol or painting, look similar. And the people, the Orthodox Church might say that, oh, we give you more freedom. If you join the Roman Church, you need to send money to Rome only. But if you join us, we give you freedom. You don't need to send money to us. You keep the money. And you don't need to be Roman Church, don't need to be Roman Catholic. In Russia, you can be Russian Orthodox. In Bulgaria, you can be Bulgarian Orthodox, just use the name Orthodox. So they give more freedom, and you can save a lot of money. You just send us some money, but not all. But the Roman Church say, no, all you have to be Roman Catholic and send all the money to Rome. So it's a big different option for a lot of churches. If you offer by the Roman and the Orthodox, which one you will choose? A lot of people will choose Orthodox because you can be Orthodox of your own, mean that you can change the church to your culture, your tradition, and save a lot of money. So this is why all the Russian, all the Eastern Europe are Orthodox, because they already decided that they don't want to send money to Rome. They want more freedom. And the Orthodox gave them that. Now we talk about more Eastern Europe now. As I say that the Slavic people live in both Europe and Asia. The western part are in Europe. The eastern part are in Asia. So now the western part became Orthodox first, became Christian Orthodox first. And now they try to spread out to the eastern part. But the eastern part, a lot of them are wilderness, mean that snow, jungle, and not many people. but still some people live there. And the church want to get all of them. But most of them go under they use the word Byzantine or the Orthodox, the Greek Orthodox. And Russia is the big brother since that day, because Russia is the biggest group of all the Slav. And they feel that all those minor people are their relative in some way. So since AD or in the 10th century, so it's 1,000 years now that the Russian feel that they are the big brother or the Slav. This is why they still control them even today. And even the breakout of the Soviet Union, all this country become independent, but the Russians still try to get them back. Now you see that Russians try to go over Serbia, go to any country that used to be under them. But all those little countries want freedom now. Now at the end of the Middle Age, from the 1300 to the 15, this is before the Reformation. This is the end of the Dark Age. And a lot more problem happened in the church because of power and money. Not much about theology. If you look at the church history between the Orthodox Church and the Roman Church, they don't have a lot of problem with theology because most of them don't know anything anyway and don't care anything anyway. When they have problem with just their leader, use the difference of their belief to fight for more power and to get rid of the enemy, that's all. But it's not because the people know the fact, know the truth. The people know nothing. Know nothing. They just upon that the leader used them to kill one another for their own gain. The people don't know anything. So some of the leaders now will get more education. You remember the last section we talked about university come up. A lot of rich people send their kids to learn. And a lot of some of the young people who are not so rich but so smart get into university too because of their wisdom. Some way they get in and they know the truth. When they know how to read Greek, Latin, they start reading the Bible because the Bible is still the big major textbook of those days. You don't have a lot of textbook, but the Bible is still one of the main course that you have to learn. Read the Bible. So that is a good thing for this scholar who know to read the Bible and found the fact, the truth from the Bible by themselves. And now at the end of the 10, 12, 11, 14, 13, it's about just leader fighting leader. The Pope in Rome fight the Pope in Constantinople, and the Pope in Rome themselves fighting one another because they want more power, they want more money. And another secret is since the 6th century, the priests supposed to be single, celibacy, but most of the Pope or the priests have wife, kid. Officially, they're not supposed to have, but practically they have. Why? Because they're not real believers. They're just there for power, for money. They buy the position. And when their children grow up, they pay money to promote their own children to be pastor and later on bishop and archbishop. They pay all the way. And they kill all the enemy who stand in their way. Money and power is all they want. They're fighting, killing one another throughout history. And another interesting, all the Pope come from two Italian family for 1,000 years. How can that two family take control of the Pope? Well, money, power. and killing. So they keep the Pope position in that two family, take turn. Now my turn, now your turn, now my turn. But sometimes that turn is the young Pope. And the Pope's supposed to rule until he dies. So how can my turn come? Because that guy's so young, going to live for 50 years. Well, you can make it shorter, poison. And this is another famous that the Pope poison one another. How you poison the Pope? You pay a lot of money to his bodyguard or anyone who serve him very close. Poison. They poison the Pope by put the poison in his food a little bit at a time. And they taking poison to the point that he died. A lot of Pope die young because of poison. So then another family can take my turn now to be Pope. So now it's in the history that a lot of Pope die young, just a few months, a few years and die. Because another family cannot wait. So they shorten the life of the Pope, poison them. So it keeps going for 1,000 years that way. Who knows in the future? So the smart Pope cannot trust anyone. You don't eat the food they serve you. You need to have a special kitchen for yourself. And you don't trust anyone because you get poisoned. Now, at the end of the Dark Age, John Wycliffe, John Huss, and all this is from England. They go to study in Rome and they become priests and they know a lot of Bible now. They start telling, as I told you, that this is not the first time or first people, but in the past they all got killed. But now God going to change the church. Some of them got killed, some of them run away, not dead. But a lot of them got killed. And in the Middle Age, the popular way to kill anyone against the Pope is barbecue them in the square, burn them alive. This is the way they love to do it. They ask all the people go to the city square and put that guy under the whole pile of wood and start burning the wood. And the wood burn the body all night alive. And that's the way to tell the people that don't cross the Pope and don't say bad thing about the leadership in Rome. This is the way you will die, and your family too, or dead. Well, this is some of the name that you see John Wycliffe. Later on, his name going to be the name of the Bible translation organization, because he is one of the person who translated New Testament into English language, simple language. But his translation might not come out first, but even he the first to translate. But you see, the church burned his translation and stopped them from printing. In those days, when you translate something, you need to copy by hand to give to people. There's no printing shop yet. But later on, in the next few years, they will invent printing shop, and their translation will not copy by hand anymore. It's going to out by printing. Now they make thousand and million, not million, thousand and thousand copy and keeping out, and more people know the fact, the truth now, because the translation of the Bible start with New Testament and tell people that the real teaching is different from what the church teach them. And it's not, translation alone is not enough, but the printing shop, modern day printing shop, make that thing happen. Later on in the next few years, Martin Luther preaching or teaching or translation will do through the printing shop and spread out overnight all over Germany. It's not just one guy know now, the whole nation know the truth. So this is the way God will change the church, because all the support will come from all people now, not a few people, but the whole nation know the truth. So this is something going on at the end of before the Reformation. There's something happened in Europe they call the Renaissance. Renaissance means that the time that people start want to know about history, literature, all things that the church covered them and done them to know for so long. It's not start about the Bible, but start about culture, tradition, and all the music, all the literature that the church burned down and keep them from learning. Because of last section, we talk about university. More people go to college and more people want to know. And now it starts spreading out. People want to go to concert, listen to music, listen to literature, and a lot of things. It go hand in hand with knowledge of college, university, and the Renaissance, the revival of the literature, history, philosophy, all the knowledge. And another important thing is Constantinople fall under the Turk. Now the Islam take over not just Jerusalem, but Constantinople, the Eastern Empire that ruled by the Roman and the Greek, now under the Turk now, Islam take over. And now the Christian in Rome is so worldly. Half of the church gone under the Islam now. And the Islam call themselves, the Islam that rule over the Byzantine, the Greek Orthodox, the Eastern Empire is, they call themselves Ottoman Empire, that later on going to be Turkey. And the threat of the church changing. Now you see the church in Rome under a lot of pressure. Half of the kingdom disappear under the Islam. And the leadership in Rome is under the pressure from all the monks from Europe that go home and start translating the Bible. And the printing shop helped spread their teaching all over Europe. Now, something big going to happen soon in the church history, the Reformation. And the real Christian will go up above ground now. You see that a lot of people think that Christian come above ground when Constantine became Christian in the 4th century, but no, it have to wait 1,000 more years. In the 16th century, when the whole European rebel against the church in Rome, and the church, the Roman church called them the Protestant. And that next week, we go to learn about the Reformation, the church go above ground, the real church come back. Okay, you have any more questions of today, what we learned?
Ajahn, question is that Islamic when Islamic liberation that fought over the Crusaders, they also forced people by the sword too, right?
Yes,
Islam
do the same thing.
not Islam, they cut your neck off.
Islam do the same thing, the same technology. The Islam will go to the Eastern European. You want to be Islam or dead? The same option. So the Eastern European under the Greek Orthodox became Islam. Okay, Kat first before and then Nathan.
Okay. Yeah, John, I cannot hold it and talk about the history. Yeah, right now when I see, for example, Russian and Taiwan, I don't know. Now is my consideration about a lot. I don't know which way I have to consider. But to me, when I see based on the history about the Russian and Ukraine and China and Taiwan, so is that the Satan's plan? I don't know why it's about the USA involved. That maybe that's the God's plan.
Well, God's always in control. A lot of things we don't understand. It just God allowed things to happen that we don't know, we don't understand too. Sometime in Israel history, God say that I punish you. I forsake you, so you will learn the lesson. So if you apply that to Christianity, it might be God trying to teach us, to warn us. But God did not forsake us completely. He always still there. And you know that the real church is still growing under persecution.
Mhm.
It never died.
Yes, that's why
Never
I'm
died.
thinking about that. But right now, when we see that the hot times coming, because all whole worlds, we get a difficulty time about the Ukraine and the Russian, that based on what history that Ukraine, I don't mean that discrimination, so I don't know why is the world see that Ukraine is the right, and then based on the history for the China and Taiwan, it's not right for China to against of that. But if we looking for the God's way, it is right, because the USA is the right way to protect, to do all the peace. If not, and then that's just nothing about the USA and then about Ukraine and Taiwan. But maybe the God's way, that's why the USA get to do the way to be the peace.
Well, today everything is about politics. A lot of time it's not right or wrong, it's just politics. And in America, it's just for vote.
Probably that's the Egyptian time, that is the powerful time.
A lot of things that we did in America, not because God told us to do. A lot of things we did because of politicians want vote to get their party into White House or in power.
Yeah, a lot of people suffer for poor for living, gasoline time. It's very suffer time right now. In order to what we see right now.
Yeah, we suffer some, but you know, people in Africa now starve to death. Millions of them
I
starve
see
to
that.
death.
Yeah.
Yeah, we in America, we not suffer. We in the land of
No,
honey and milk.
especially for California, we do, but the other state, no, for California.
What I think any state, you know, they have food, they have food bank. Even the homeless get to eat free food.
Yeah, over here, you know, so by the break every Tuesday, you can go grab some food. They give you bread, give to your vegetable. Yeah, canned food. egg. This United States, the same thing, God planned to Moses to permit land. That you have everything over there very big for you. The same here. The God so bad.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. But that is only when we look for the general only. The real is the deep to the right way. We are suffer. Americans suffer right now.
Theologically, this world is not perfect until Jesus come back.
Right.
Amen.
Okay, sometime this week I will send you chapter 8, 9, and 10 of both classes.
So who don't have in Thai, just enough to let me know what chapter you're missing.
Okay.
Ajahn, you want me to save all this and send it to you, all the translation?
Yeah, it can be your project. You
Yeah.
get credit for that.
Yeah, I know. I had since last semester too.
Yeah, you put them together and send to me.
Okay.
So it can be your project.
Yes.
Any one of you want to translate into Mian? I know it's a lot.
Ajahn, this part I might dreaming for a long time, but I don't know. That's my knowledge. I don't know. That's just my purpose, my dreaming.
You know that
This is my mind is it's not. I say I want to have a big scoop. I want to have one scoop is a very big, but I don't. But I can dream it. I can be a boat. I don't know.